Hi, I'm Peter Ficklin of Ficklin Vineyards and want to take this opportunity today to kind of talk to you about some of the old traditional methods of making wine and some of the secrets that have been out there that nobody really talks about. And one of those is blending ports into dry red wines. And you know, there is the axiom that people talk dry but they drink sweet. And we can find a nice intermediate balance between those two, because what we want to do is add sugar to some of these wines that are marginal. They need a little enhancement. The flavors are kind of lost and hidden perhaps. And we can do that by blending port. Now, winemakers today are given several opportunities that they can use grape concentrate and things like this to enhance the sweetness of dry red wines, which we're talking about more about texture much more than perceptible sugar. However, there's some flavors associated with grape concentrates that perhaps when used with certain wine varieties they don't taste very good. That's the bottom line on it. But with a high quality port addition, we can enhance the flavors of the wine that you have in different areas in the mouth. We would probably use Suzao to finish the fullness in the back, Touriga for some of that upper spicy character fruit, the Tinta Madeira for plummy jammy, interesting aroma and things like that. So we have a lot of options, many more options than the use of grape concentrate. Hi, well, we're back in the lab and I pulled a few port samples that we can look at. These are all 2008s, and we have 4 different Portuguese varieties that we work with in producing ports here at Ficklin Vineyards. Predominantly a lot of plummy jammy flavors in the Tinta Madeira, the Touriga, a lot of spicy chocolatey coffee character in it, and of course the Suzao is a lot of dark berry lower fruit in the mouth. The thing about these wines is the fact that you're putting quality wines into your dry red wines. So we're not giving you second-hand ports here. These are top-notch wines that would go into a vintage port eventually, or our old vine Tinta port. The Tinta Madeira, there's a lot of nice plummy, jammy berry fruit in there, light cherry flavors, some lighter blackberry, ripe blackberry. A lot of these we look for balance when we choose them. You know, sugar's important in making ports, but we want balance in the mouth between the tannins, the acid, the alcohol that we use, and of course the sugar content is the bottom line. That's the key. And a lot of that happens at harvest time when we're making these. So again, the Tinta Madeira, nice lighter fruit aromatics in it, nice plum jam character. So if you've got a red wine, a Merlot, or something that's lacking some of that upper palate, mid palate fruit in there, the Tinta Madeira is a perfect addition for that. The Touriga, it reminds me of Zinfandel in a lot of ways in the way it strikes the mouth and where it lays in there if we've made a dry wine out of it. Darker flavors, a little lower in the mouth, more front to back. There's some width involved in it. Darker berry fruit in here, so black cherry, and again kind of leans towards some of the coffee and chocolate tones in it. The aromatics aren't that brighter fruit character that you see with the Tinta Madeira. There's with some of the vintage ports that we've made using Touriga, there's almost some menthol character, that kind of tobacco and menthol that exudes out of those bottle-aged ports like that. So again, the Touriga is one of the ones that I would choose for a cab or a Zin perhaps. And of course none of this process is you know, 1 + 1 = 2. There's things that are masked sometimes, and there's things that are enhanced in the mouth. But Touriga will do a lot for blending in a cab that's a little thin, or a Zin. Suzao is a Teinturier, so we're adding a lot of color to anything that we blend it into. A lot of darker, lower back palate fruit. Aromatics are on the dark berry fruits, ripe plum, very dark and very low in the mouth. And so for a foundational wine we use in blending vintage ports, Suzao is where we start. But if you've got a Zin that's a little more upfront. Maybe it's got some nice mid-palate fruit, but it lacks any kind of a finish or depth in it. This is the one that you want to look at. So we have winemakers that send us dry red wines, and what we do is we go ahead and do small additions of these wines to some of these things and look to see the changes that occur and where that occurs in the mouth. And then hopefully we can come up, in a sense, with a recipe of a blend of ports to help them finish their wines and make them a little better.